bum 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 bum. It's the bum bum children bum bum of the Beast podcast. We should start the show.
We should.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Children of the Beast, live from the lair of the Beast, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here with Andrew. I'm here. I'm Andrew. Did you see? Hold on, real quick before I introduce myself. Last week, I introduced myself as Carlos.
I did. And then you did that edit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid. Okay, so I'm Andrew. This is Carlos. We know our names. Hello. Welcome. I don't know. That's all I was going to say. Good. Welcome. We're in it.
Back at it, man. Back at it. You know, we had a little bit of a weird...
I was out of town. I was in Arizona. I went to Sedona.
Right. Well, the week before, I had to cancel.
That's right. And we did a midweek recording.
Yeah.
And then because I was out of town.
And then you were out of town. Right. So this is back to the Sunday.
But this is still episode number 8. We've been doing this for 2 months.
Just like that.
I mean, another month and we're quarter of the way through a year.
That's awesome. But yeah, it was the first week with the kids going to the distance schooling.
Sure. I was at preschool for the last 2 weeks now.
Tremendous, man. Tremendous. It's so crazy, but I bet you if I could give if I could just have endless amount of money to have stupid fun, one of the things I would do is I would test Americans and following directions. And I would
clearly we would fail.
Yeah, I know the test only has 3 directions in it. I expect a 50% failure ratio at least. Because my God, dude, all these people show up. The chatter on the fucking app thing for the kids' school was not obviously everything's wrong, nothing's working. But you know, half of these people woke up 5 minutes before the thing was due. They're still in their pajamas, rushing the kids to sit in front of the computer. You know what I'm saying, dude? Yeah. Like, did you set up your child's email? Like the email asked us to 2 months ago.
Right.
Did you do the steps, man? Yeah. You know, like, but that's what, like, I'm very new to the school system because my kid just went into first grade.
Right.
And so I've always heard about the parents complaining about the schools. And what I imagined, right? I'm not saying that I got Harvard because it's a public school. But what I imagine growing up based on the fucking culture and rhetoric of the community is not what I've seen. These people try very hard. They take their job very seriously. It's a true fucking vocational calling for what I've been exposed to. I'm not doubting there's shitty teachers out there and all that.
With my high school experience, I went to public school. I would agree with that. At least in my public high school, we had a bunch of teachers who cared very much about the subject they were teaching and about the students. It was great. Did have some teachers that you could tell we're kind of phoning it in, but that's very obvious. And I think you find that in all walks of life. Right.
And just because somebody's phoning it in, it doesn't mean that you can't learn from them.
Yeah, totally.
I would love to be in an Elon Musk phoning it in session. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that Elon, because Elon's Elon. But what I'm saying is that, like, I've gone through this with, when I first started kickboxing, I was so attached to my gym because that was the first gym that I liked, Master Toddy's back in the day. And so it was really hard for me to envision like different coaches or even a different gym or anything. And eventually I got to a point after being at Couture's and having several different coaching staffs there for as long as I've been there. I just realized that it just makes you luckier. If you like this thing, whatever the thing is, why wouldn't you want as many different expert perspectives on that thing?
Totally.
That makes you better rather than saying, well, no, man, I'm just a Master Wong guy and I only do the form this way. No, man, like you fucking open up your goddamn mind. It's the same with teachers, you know?
And it speaks to the idea of, it takes 10,000 hours to master anything, whatever the number is. I don't 10,000 is not actually high enough.
Right. Well, I mean, it may not be, but I think the whole point is that by then you lost track. You're just good at it and you keep getting better.
But, part of getting those hours is going to find other people who are better, who have more hours than you and learning from them. And the more of those people you can find and learn from, the better it's going to be for you.
And
simple.
One thing I wish people could get comfortable with this. You can very much learn something from someone you cannot stand.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry to break it to you, but that can happen. Yeah. Someone you absolutely cannot stand could be the temporary holder of information that you were looking for. And they just happen to be the only person to transmit that information forth. And it has nothing to do with whether you're right or wrong about liking him or disliking him or not. It has to do about what are you more committed to? Your dislike for that human being for whatever different reasons, or the information that you were in fact waiting to come upon.
So I saw a great tweet kind of speaking to this idea, and it's once you learn the price of something, you just have to pay it. Whatever that is, whatever that may be.
100%.
Like if you want 6-pack abs, you have to pay the price, right? That's a very superficial example, but that's true. And I mean, you can take that and throw it to business, to art, to anything really. You just figure out what it's going to take and you just do that until however long you grind
That's it. That's it. I was just talking to one of my coaches at Couture about this, and we're good friends. We've been friends for a long time. I've been there for so long. I'm good friends with a lot of them. And I was talking to him and I was saying, he just got a really cool car, right? He got a Tesla that's awesome. And, he got a really good deal. He's a smart dude. And, him and his girlfriend are starting like their life together.
Nice,
They've been, it's pretty cool. I think they just got engaged like a couple of months ago.
Oh, congrats.
And so, yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. And so we're talking, and one of the things that sprouted him looking into leasing a car is that I've been leasing my wife's car for many years because I like, for our situation, for her car, I like what they offer. And so anyway, we were talking about all this stuff, and he's got a fight coming up, and I don't remember how it came up, but I was just saying to him like, we were talking about a fighter that was at our gym amongst other gyms, and he got a short notice call to the UFC, and then he kind of quit in the middle of the fight, right? And we all care about him because anybody, I mean, when I met him, he's a good kid. I've never seen him be like dickish or anything to anybody, but he got released by the UFC. And then, I was asking if he had been around, because I haven't seen him since. And evidently, he kind of hasn't been around yet. He was probably still figuring out what he's going to do or whatever. But one of the things that I was telling Danny, I was like, well, I hope that he comes back because he's a smart kid. He's young and he has a lot of knowledge, even if he decided not to fight, like he still has a place, I think, to be pretty big in the sport regardless. And so that's when I was telling Danny that I wish one of the things I would have told myself when I was growing up is that no matter what it is, anything in life that you want to learn, you can if you start and you never stop.
Yeah.
That's it.
I believe that.
It doesn't mean it's going to be faster or you're going to be in competition with another person to start at the same time. No. Just forget all that. If you want to know how to play the saxophone and you start and never stop, with varying degrees of frequency and repetition and commitment.
That's how I feel about my guitar playing.
Dude, 100%. Why not?
I go through like modes where I play a lot more guitar than I don't. Yeah. And 110%. 110%.
And that's how everything gets to, and I think slowly as you do that, you find like a biorhythm of things where you dive deep into. Yeah, totally. And then other things where you're like, no, this is a taper. Yeah. This one I keep on the outside, and sometimes they
switch, and then sometimes
they switch. Yes, and that's okay too.
The variety of spice,
but if I look at like, I'll be 40 in Christmas, right? So if I look at last 20, old. I'm getting old.
He's old. Big 4-0, baby.
This baldness is 100% chosen and optional.
Are you gonna keep it though?
Yeah. At least until Michael has full hair grown back.
Gotcha.
Out.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Once I'm thinking once he hits like a year of maintenance therapy and everything. Then
I was just about to say, should we bring that up? That's an incredible thing, right?
Yeah, it was cool. So my son that has B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, diagnosed on January 1st, has been going through treatment. And we just hit last week, we hit the mark where his numbers and his treatment has finally progressed to where he doesn't have the illness anymore. But because of the type of leukemia that it is, they have a protocol so that they can avoid recurrences. And so he goes into what they call maintenance therapy, which is great because instead of going once a week, he now goes once a month. And he only goes for blood. The rest of his meds are here at home and mostly oral stuff. So it's not as intensive and heavy. Plus, the main thing is that it means that the treatment worked the way that it's designed to work. Yeah. Like that's what's crazy about those markers that are so important because that means that it's working the way they told you. And so that was pretty huge. And so we're kind of a little bit relieved. Of course. A little bit relieved. And so once he hits a year of maintenance therapy, then I'm gonna let myself grow my hair back out. His hair's already grown out.
Yeah, you can tell.
Gotten longer, and his energy level's great. He started his little pre-K school on Friday. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, man,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it's been good. But obviously between that and I had some other work related situations, it's a fucking crazy week. I mean, I had I had to keep it together. I had to, man. It was around Wednesday. I was just like fucking what the fuck, but it's, shit. After dealing with the stuff that I dealt with my son this year,
Of course.
everything else I can figure out,
Totally. Yeah, of course.
So, but yeah, man, I'm good. The boys are good. Good week of school. James was great. By the 4th day, he's like waking up all excited and like he's on point. He's on point. Awesome. He's on point. And he's a little bit ahead of some of the other boys at his age because he's not shy.
Sure, totally.
He actually goes for it. So his participation is pretty good, and he's engaged.
Right? He's a curious little boy.
Yes,
he's just so curious. He wants to know things. Which is, that's all you really could want for. I feel like as someone that's a preschool teacher studying to be a high school teacher. Well, all my students are curious throughout my career.
As a dad, and most importantly, as an American,
oh my God,
I cannot stand the lack of curiosity.
Sure.
God damn it, because that leads to knowledge. If you're curious enough, you're going to have to find out how blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But the problem is that too many people just don't give a shit about anything until they have to, or until it's life or death for them, So, yeah, man, it was a good week. It was a good week. And then also I had some business that I did last month, and I had some commission money that I got. And so we bought a little jogger for Michael that hooks up to the back of my wife's bicycle. So that's pretty cool because now they can come on the bike rides with James and I. And then I got James. This is very much a source of pride for me. He had his first 2 workouts today with a heart rate monitor in his chest. My boy.
Metrics. My boy. Spreadsheets. Graphs.
No. I created his profile on Polar Heart Rate.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And I also had to open an email account for him. He's got a Gmail account.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I want to send him letters.
It's hilarious.
With the heart rate, because the Polar, it keeps you in like little groups based on different things. So like, is he in a?
No. That's the Whoop.
Oh, okay.
The
so I was
Whoop
wondering
is the
if
one
he's got to be the only one in his age bracket.
No. I mean, but what is cool is that they do have a system for them to have a profile if they're under 13.
Oh, okay.
So everything is linked to my email and all that. Same with the email. Because I didn't know how Google. I thought back in my day, if you were under 18, you had to lie to Google or Yahoo or whatever.
Had to lie on the internet.
Yeah. In general. Yeah.
Yes. Hello, I am 18. Yeah. Click.
I know. I'm 40, and when I say okay on the 18 and porn, I still feel like I'm lying. I'm not, and I haven't for a long time. But still a little bit like they don't know. You're 49, sir.
Well, you gotta imagine. I don't know if we want to talk about this, but like the elderly in porn and a computer. If you're tech savvy enough, no, is that not a thing that's happening? You don't think?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm. Who knows though? I say that yes, if they have a phone, because it's not either.
It's a small screen.
Yeah, but there's no way to have it and not develop that. Yeah. If you are one of those I'm not on the interwebs guys, then no. But if you have a goddamn phone,
it's just too easy.
If you have a phone and friendships on social media, because that means that you're friends and you're friends with somebody else, and that the information passes down too quickly. Even if you're old and you're on social media and you have a friend that's your age, eventually somebody's DMing somebody else eventually.
Do you think there's just like a community of old people on Tinder?
Fuck, man. I don't know.
I hope not.
If I was going to venture into a guess, I would say that it's more like if you're an old person that's looking to hook up with young people, because that's the young person's fetish, you're probably pretty popular. Because I don't think there's that many,
I don't know. No, Carlos, I don't know.
Why don't you... Can you? Oh no, it doesn't work like that, huh?
What do you mean?
How do you get matched?
I mean, you would make a profile, and then you would see other profiles, and then you would choose to swipe right if you want to match.
So how would you get somebody that's super old to show up on your thing?
You would have to make your age range to whatever age range you want. Okay, then you would have to wait for them to swipe back.
But so that's the only way you would see their avails.
Yeah.
Okay, that's added. That makes sense. So
it would probably be too mean to do this on the show. to make a fake Tinder account and look at the old people.
No.
There's no way. That's like,
first of all, listen, I watched too many TV shows, right? Where there was like a catfishing on the personals or anything like that.
yeah, it seems too mean to.
When
They always blur it out, right?
when people are desperate enough to be on that shit for hookups, okay, and you're fucking with them, you don't know what you're poking at. I'm more afraid of crazy than angry.
Not
you
even
know
the
what I mean?
morality of it is the self-preservation out of it.
Fuck yeah! I don't want to get fucking killed by some psychopath that's like, I thought I loved you. No, I'm not. Thank you, dude. No,
Yeah.
that's a reason you're here already and shit.
You know what? I would like to bring up. This is the second failed Tinder experiment idea we've had on the show.
What was the first one?
Getting my dad to Tinder.
Oh yeah,
That's a horrible idea. That's a horrible idea.
good.
But 8 episodes in, 2 down, and another 12 episodes, we might have a good idea.
Maybe just the good idea was the podcast itself. the good idea stopped there. That could be could be the case too.
And it'd just be a vehicle for our other bad ideas.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like offensive T-shirt idea. Don't forget about
I don't think what
I got a
Are we
dirty.
getting t-shirts?
I've been thinking about T-shirts.
Oh, you need to make a design.
I'm starting to marinate on T-shirts. Believe me.
Please, a design, a guitar
I'm
intro.
working on it. I'm working on all of it. It's just listen. It's a lot on my plate. It's a lot on my plate. And all dude's plate's full. You know what I mean? All dude Areno's plate is a little full, but I'm getting to it. But yeah, what the hell is that?
Speaking of El Dorino, do you know what's back? September 15th for me and my brother Ricky. Our brother Ricky.
Bowling. Where are you gonna bowling at?
Red Rock.
Nice.
We have the entire bowling alley to the league. There's only like 30 leagues, and it's only one team per pair. So like you're not really going head to head. It's just against the field, I guess. But
better than nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're only not socially distant with your team.
Correct. But everybody still has to wear masks.
Whilst bowling?
I'm sorry. What?
While bowling?
While bowling. Which I've done a handful of times now. It's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that bad.
Well, that's interesting.
It'll be nice. I'm excited to be back.
It'll be nice when they get this shit under control.
Well, I mean, November after the election.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and I mean, at least the civil unrest is not bad here in Nevada. But
do we have to talk about this? I don't know if I want to talk about this. Oh my god,
dude!
It's just so heavy and
it's so just crazy. It's just I just cannot. I never imagined this level of escalation. I guess maybe I'm naive, but it's just.
No, and I agree with you, but I also believe, we wouldn't be necessarily seeing this level of escalation if it wasn't for people publicizing it. Like, this is all local news. This is local news to Portland. Maybe not.
No, man. No, because
not when it's 80 days. Not when it's 80 days.
That's the thing.
And they're attacking federal property.
And the goddamn subversive provocateurs are on all sides.
Absolutely.
And that makes it so crazy.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not like you can, there's no clear guys with the white hats on. And, it
doesn't feel like there's.
Oh, God, man.
It doesn't feel like either side are the good guys. I think they're good guys, but I don't feel like either side are.
Well, there's that. And I think there's also a shared win at all costs.
Definitely.
And the win is not the win for one cause is the loss for many. No one cause is the right one. You know what I mean? And the way that they're behaving or allowing some of the perspective on each one of them, it's just, it's insane, man. It's been the news stuff is pretty crazy.
Shootings, multiple.
It's not that. It's just that the addiction to the outrage reaction is just.
How do we de-escalate? Biden winning?
No.
Trump winning? Kanye winning, maybe? I don't know. No, I don't think it's that.
I hate to say it, but I do think that I am starting to be in favor of the federal government intervening. Because when people become like animals, like wild animals, sometimes you just got to chill them out. Shut the fuck up. Stay put. Everyone quiet.
Well,
because, for instance, right? The kid got arrested.
Yeah. He turned himself in.
And he's fucked. He's fucked. That guy's not going to be free. He killed 2 people. However, the charges are going to come down. We have to start by upholding the existing justice system. He's not suntanning in his front yard doing this to the protesters. He got arrested.
Yeah.
And you could argue that he did feel his life was threatened. Is he a misguided person? Perhaps.
Absolutely.
Perhaps he is. You know what I mean? Like, I understand a 17-year-old's not even supposed to have that weapon. I don't know much about guns or anything like that, but I read somewhere that he's not even, would he be legally allowed to have that weapon? And
so is that fine?
And that he maybe crossed over
so I did see
state
that,
lines or something.
I also saw a claim that the gun was never his and it was actually given to him by somebody that was a part of the group.
Well, then that needs to be investigated under the existing judicial,
Which, as far as I know, I don't think there's a law against it, right? Because like if I own a gun and we go shooting together, that's kind of the same thing.
I don't know enough about it. And I'm pretty sure that changes upon the commission of a crime with that weapon. Sure,
I'm probably.
Like so.
No, I don't think you can justify him being down there.
No.
17-year-old in the middle of what's, I'm sorry, going to be a violent event that it's pretty obvious it's going to result in some violence because of the amount of tension that's in the air. But a lot of
people have allowed themselves to believe that this is the rhetoric is facilitating them fancying themselves as an old time patriot, and that's how old children were when there was American Revolution.
Yeah.
And I say children because we were such a young country that an old man was 35.
Right. Yeah.
So
the founding fathers were around.
We can't be hypocritical about that part of it either. Sure. And now he's not going to get treated like a child.
No, definitely not.
You know what I mean?
He probably shouldn't be.
No.
Like you said, two people were dead at the end of the day. The third injured, possibly losing his arm. I'm not sure.
That's the thing, and the thing in Kenosha, again. Once you're dealing with the cops, you don't get to turn your back on them and walk back to your car. That situation, however they got there, right?
Yeah.
You cannot expect them not to do anything in that case. And I saw the video that Tyrone Woodley posted about the other crazy, clearly non-threatening. You know what? Maybe that specific thing, it is a cherry picking. But unless that was the same officers, we're comparing a different situation. We're just playing a gotcha game.
How can
two different videos?
And like it's just I don't know.
So it's so fucking unfortunate, and
it's unfortunate that the guy is apparently kind of a piece of shit, right?
Yes.
Right. I mean, like that's kind of the facts of the situation.
But
I don't want him to be dead by any means. He didn't deserve to die.
No.
But he's, by all evidence, it seems like.
If the police profiling turns out to be correct, that means the system that they were trained under works. If you are not, you cannot expect to have a record.
The result doesn't work, right? Because man's dead.
No, that's the one part I don't understand. Like for instance, in that situation, right? Why couldn't you shoot him in the back of the leg or in the foot?
I believe police officers are trained not to shoot.
I know. They're trained to shoot for the big body mass.
Clips.
But
anti-empty clips. That's why he was shot 7 times.
But he was close enough.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And if they're saying, he was going to check on his kids were in front of him. Yeah, I get it, dude. That's fucking terrible. That's even more recent. Okay, so
allegedly he was stealing the car from the girlfriend.
When immigrant kids get taken, right? A lot of the people, the hardline people, the argument is, why did you make that trip with your kid then? If you knew that this was a possibility, right? That's one of the things that people argue.
That is an argument.
I
agree with that. I don't agree with the argument, but that's an argument.
In this case, right? The kids were there. But why the fuck would he be walking away from police commands in front of his kids? Because that's a valid thing to point out to. I'm not saying there's no agreeing or disagreeing here. I'm saying that's the only way for this to progress is to have a dialogue with everything. Yes. The things that make the person that's outraged and in pain, some of the arguments are going to make them uncomfortable because they're in pain and enraged. Yeah. But it doesn't mean those arguments are invalid. And you got to have a capacity to have that conversation, or else don't have any of those until you're no longer that enraged and hurt to be also served your truth.
Yeah, because when you're dealing one-on-one with people, you don't, if I'm super mad at you in an argument, we don't try to fix it in that moment. We take a second, we breathe, we calm down.
You want me to submit to the only way to provide you emotional relief then is to submit.
Exactly.
And that doesn't solve anything because that's not real.
Yeah.
Right. And I go away. Yeah. Maybe I did it because I was compelled at the time, but I don't go away changed about how I felt.
Totally.
So therefore that problem's not fucking changed, So it sucks, man. It sucks for everyone. It sucks for.
There are no winners.
And some of the government officials too, man. As much as some of them are good and some of them are inept, fuck, I don't think any of them
are really fucking awful.
I don't think any of them imagined any of this when they ran.
No.
Since when did a mayor? I mean, the last mayor that had to deal with some shit was Giuliani. I mean, other than that was like a rather an eventful.
Right, mayors are kind of a chill job.
Yeah, on the national level, you didn't know this many mayors.
Well, and I don't understand why mayors and governors are rejecting federal aid in these cities.
Honestly, I feel that the majority of mayors are pawns
for their party.
Yeah,
sure.
For the interest that's benefiting from their decisions, from the power that they behold right now in this particular time and age.
Like specifically for us, Carolyn Goodwin, that's a great example, right? And she's not necessarily tied to a party, I don't think.
No,
but she's tied to special interest here in town.
Yes, it's a different thing. It's a different thing.
Unions. Yes. It's different.
But also,
that makes sense with this town.
But also, it's very astute.
Well, again, it makes sense with this town.
No, but what I like on the national level is that it makes us a swing state. That is too small to be a swing state. But because of the presence, the heavily presence of the unions that we have here, we're a swing state, right? And
also, I don't know how many states where there's like 3 population centers that kind of control what the state does, right?
Right. Yeah. But there's a lot of empty. A lot of empty space in our state.
Absolutely speaking to the point where you said we're a swing state, right? Absolutely. Sometimes that empty rural space does kind of dominate the state legislator and then legislation.
Well, and the people that feel the most besmirched often are those that are in the rural areas.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't they be?
You know what I mean?
I mean, right. We even get sense of that here with being in the southern part of Nevada, Las Vegas, where the capital's up north in Carson City, and it absolutely seems to favor Reno. Let's be real.
No, and information. Just the flowing of information to those communities.
Well, I mean, the Postal Service, right? This is a great example here again.
And that's really where the whole thing to me is being the most like earmarked is watching the way these mayors are responding to this rapid succession of events, right? And all of the special interests that can be at play. And some of them you can tell are just downright bumpkins, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some bunking ass motherfuckers, the mayors.
Well, right, imagine for our state, the mayor of Gardnerville, Elko. I'm sure they're great people, but
probably not too worldly.
Because if they were, they probably wouldn't have been elected in those places.
Well, I mean, they stayed.
I mean, they don't represent the people who they. I mean, maybe I'm disparaging the good people of Elko and Gardnerville. I hope I am.
I mean, it could be, but I don't know how you would win an office like that if you were an export.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
You know. So I mean,
you don't wear a cowboy hat up there, you're not going to get elected.
And you would figure people would know who you are because it's not that big.
Yeah. Totally.
So that's it's definitely hard to stay away from it, you know?
It's impossible. And especially as we're getting closer and closer to November, it's just impossible.
Yeah, and then it's affecting all the sports and then, you know.
Which I'll say I'm kind of a fan of, right? The NBA was able to get NBA arenas to become voting centers.
That's pretty cool.
It's incredible. Right? All publicly funded arenas, stadiums, event centers, those should be voting centers.
Yeah.
They should be. Like the Raiders say at least.
But see, that's what I don't understand is why is it that they can't just say, okay, well, we're going to do both. You can vote by mail or you can go to a voting center.
Yeah, no, they should.
You know, let the chips fall where they may.
I think it's because, right, the Republicans typically outsmash Democrats on day of voting. When there's an actual election voting day, but during mail-in votes, Democrats usually have a higher percentage. I think that's kind of some of the pushback against it. And, right, Republicans call what Democrats do is ballot harvesting, right? So they design someone to go out to different communities, to different houses, say, here's your ballot, go vote, fill it out. I'll take it to the post office to you. It's actually legal here in the state of Nevada to do this. it was just passed in our most recent special session, and our Secretary of State wanted to put a regulation where if you're a person who is collecting ballots, I'm not going to say ballot harvester because I don't think that's the proper term for it.
Whatever.
I think this was a little bit more inflammatory way to say ballot collector.
An election liaison.
Exactly. And I think it actually makes a lot of sense. But what she was arguing for, right, that's totally fine. But if you collect more than 10 ballots, you should have to be registered with the Secretary of State, who is the office that controls all of our state elections. So that makes a lot of sense to me. That way they're able to oversee it, to regulate it, to make sure nothing foul's going on. Governor Sisolak said no. We're just going to do it the way it is passed in the legislation where anyone can go out and collect ballots. Which, again, not the worst thing in the world, but I think the Secretary of State had a very good idea and was very well within the boundaries of her office to want to oversee this practice.
I see.
Yeah.
But you would imagine that. Why is it that the Republicans are not confident enough that their people are just going to go vote anyway?
That's the other thing, right? Republicans should just be okay and double down on strategy and just go collect ballots. Because places like Arizona, there's a significant older population who typically skews right. Make it easier for them to go vote. Make it so that you don't have to go pick up grandma and papa to go vote.
Yeah. But the other counterpoint too, and it's not really a counterpoint, it's just a point on the opposite side, not a specific point to that one, is if you can go protest, then you can go vote.
That is a great point. I don't disagree with it. Right? Granted, voting day up is a pain in the butt. It really is. And I'm not sure I necessarily disagree with it being not a pain in the butt. And maybe it should be.
It should be a day's event. Yeah.
But it should also be a national holiday. You shouldn't have to choose between going to work and going to go vote, which a lot of people do have to choose. That's the reality of the situation in this country.
But right now they shouldn't matter.
Yeah, well, that's true.
We'll deal with that later. Right now, that's not a problem.
That's 4 years from now. We'll deal with it again.
Put that on the agenda for later.
All right, fair enough. I don't disagree with that, I don't think. But you see my point, though, right?
But see, that's the thing, is that when people are having this fucking arguments on the public discourse arena, right? Then this becomes a yelling match. Like, oh, yeah, well, why don't we just dig everything up? Well, you don't want to deal with the issue, sir. It just escalates into a fucking complete devolvement of...
Well, and the argument that there's not going to be voter fraud, that's just false.
Well,
that's just false.
I mean,
voter fraud is going to happen regardless.
I'm sorry to surprise everybody. Every election that anyone that's ever voted had fraud.
Voter fraud. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Without fraud, you wouldn't have Bush, and he was a Republican. So,
hey, political parties, just get better at it, right?
Fuck. I mean,
I don't know.
Listen, man.
If that's the way the game's going to be played.
I'm going to bring it right back around. I'm going to bring it right back around right now.
Please do. You spin me right round, baby, like a record player.
The best weapon you can unleash on the world is a well-educated, well-adjusted child that you raised.
Yeah.
So how many of these people that are constantly arguing and criticizing mayors and how they kids turn out? Let's start there. Don't go that far. Oh, you're looking at Washington. No. We're going to look at your fucking cupboard. Let's go through these pictures. Sure. Which one's this one? He looks a little...
Carlos, 2 episodes in a row. 2 episodes in a row. I just bleeped it out last time. I kept the entire conversation in, but I just bleeped it out.
I told you look all Republican today.
I do with this outfit. I'm not going to disagree.
Anytime a man has a polo shirt with flamingos on it.
You got a problem with flamingos?
I don't. I'm just saying.
Apparently you do?
I'm saying
you got an opinion on flamingos.
Yes, I do.
What's your opinion?
You look like Bradley Cooper in Wedding Crashers dressed like that.
I think that's a compliment.
Well, good.
Brad Cooper is a successful actor.
In that movie, he was an asshole.
I don't remember that movie.
Really?
Not Bradley Cooper's character, no.
Crack cakes and football. That's what Maryland does. Oh, you got to watch that movie again, son.
It sounds like I need some crab cakes.
I had some crab cakes this week.
Sounds like we should trade shirts.
No, never.
Well, I mean, you're the one eating crab cakes.
I'm all good. I'll still look like a 16-year-old that follows bands. I don't give a shit. I'm 40 almost. Still dressed like I'm 16.
That is a good band, though.
I'm so old. I'm wearing cargo shorts. Fuck you.
Cargo shirts are ugly.
Man,
and I'm wearing shorts that look like puke.
I don't give a shit.
I got puke-colored shorts, dog.
Cargo shorts allow me to keep my range. Plus, these are the hiking ones. These are the Columbia ones. So they got a little stretchy. Plus, they light, so I can swim in it.
Carlos, what's your favorite hike here in Las Vegas?
I don't hike. But 90% of these bitches out there don't do yoga. And they're wearing yoga pants. Fuck them.
We should go hiking.
I'm not...
Early in the sun. Early in the morning.
I mean...
Jimmy boys.
Why do you want to go on a slow climbing walk?
Because it's pretty.
I do like hiking, actually.
It's pretty, dog.
I like Red Rock and shit.
Red Rock and go Mount Charleston, and the boys will love it. James
I gotta wait for Mikey to be a little bit stronger.
Well, let me take James.
Because of the dirt, you know?
Let me take James. James will have fun.
He'd like it.
Every morning, and then we can go get lunch after.
He would like it.
Yeah.
He would fucking go nuts in it.
All right, so I'm going to take James hiking is what it sounds like.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Oh, shit.
So I started preschool back this week, 2 weeks ago, but this week was my first week back.
How many students you got?
I have 7 compared to 15 last year.
Is that the cap? Is that what you capped it at? Or
so we're capping it at
the only
10.
people that came back?
We're capping it at 10. Technically, we can have up to 22 students, I believe, at any one point. So at most, we only want 20.
Cool.
Last year, we would have 2 classes of 15 at the school at any one time with 2 teachers. So now I have 7 kids, and I'm the only teacher.
Gotcha.
So we're not trying to cross-pollinate as much as we can. And from my understanding, from what I've heard around the block, a lot of early child care centers are not necessarily
kosher.
Not kosher, but right. The guidelines are relatively lax, to my understanding.
They are. Well, a lot of people are using them as pre-K now, and just regular daycares. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
We heard about a lot of people that are just dropping off their kids at Safe Key and shit.
Sure. Totally. But it's been good. I am only teaching 3-year-olds, where last year I taught 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. And if you're not around this age of children, if you're just my age and you've never been around young kids, you probably don't think there's a big difference between 3 and 4-year-olds. But there's a world of difference, right? The best way I can describe it, if you have no concept of it, right? With a class of 15 4-year-olds at the beginning of the year, you maybe have to go around to 3 kids and show them how to hold a pencil. With 3-year-olds, you have to go around to every kid and show a pencil how to hold the pencil. In just terms of timing, when you're doing stuff, that's the best way I've come up with to describe the difference. They're great. They're already super stoked on school, which is awesome. My class is so at 3-year-old, they're all adorable, and I have the most adorable class, which is great.
That's cool.
Had a kid pee on me.
Ooh.
Twice in a day.
Aggressive.
Listen, man, he's getting new. It's preschool. It's not school. It's preschool. He's got to figure it out. No hate, no judgment. We've all been there. We've all been 3-year-old peeing our pants.
Oh, so he ran out of clothes probably because he already used the first outfit?
Yeah, well, thankfully we have extra clothes, obviously, for when this happens, because it's a preschool and this is not the most uncommon thing. We had a kid throw up. First week. Totally fine, by the way. He spit up a little bit of food. Good to go. I mean,
you can rally.
We obviously set him to the side, and thankfully it was towards the end of the day, so his dad was already on his way to pick him up, so that worked out nicely. But he was totally fine. I mean, he was totally fine. It was 5 seconds, and then he was like, "All right, I'm good. I'm rallying." Yeah, it was totally fine. But it's been good. It's been good. It's good to be back.
Good.
It's good to be back around that energy.
Yeah, and people in general, man.
Definitely talking to the coworkers and whatnot.
Yeah,
we're wearing masks. The kids for the masks, it's optional. We're doing so much cleaning. I'm worried about my skin with the amount of cleaning we're doing, but it's
and see, that's the other thing that's so weird is the thing that I think I struggle with the most is the lack of any objective information sources. You know,
well, now people are discrediting the CDC. People are discrediting the WHO.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's
not for not good reasons.
Not exactly. It just seems like we slid so far away from accountability that when everybody has to be accountable at once, then there's a bunch of shit to be found out.
Have you heard this idea of that we are slowly entering the age of the death of the expert?
No, I haven't.
So right, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're in an age where the idea of an expert is kind of dying because of how much access we have to knowledge on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about it, but
it makes a lot of sense.
My first reaction is to think that it's a good sign of progress.
Interesting.
Because part of expertise came through interaction with colleagues of the highest regarding each field. Well, those interactions can happen daily and consistently now.
They could.
They can. I don't think. Yes, I think they are. Because even if they're not interacting directly, they're reading each other's shit. Yeah, because they're egotistical fucks. Totally. So therefore, by virtue of checking up on your competition or on your rivals or whatever, you're interacting, motherfucker. You may not call them and be like, "Hey, good job, I agree," or "I disagree with this," but you're absorbing that shit, and that's bleeding into your own application of your practice.
See, but I'm not sure it's necessarily a good thing because, experts are good. It is good to have experts in things.
Yeah, but expert is an ambiguous term.
Sure, but now are you relying on the general public to decipher between the things? Which,
yes,
but is that good? Is that good?
Listen, we're gonna go through some bad times for a little bit in that regard, but everyone needs to do that because everyone has always. The regular population turned itself into a child. I don't have to worry about what I eat because the Food Administration says it's okay. I don't have to worry about the cigarettes because the Surgeon Cancer says the Camel's lights are okay. I don't have to worry about fucking drinking Coke because Diet Coke's okay. And so then it turns out that no, fuck that, dude. People are taking all this, in my opinion, as a shortcut to critical thinking.
That's just a high expectation of the general public where we've never seen in human history.
I know, but
we have the most access to knowledge in human history.
But all I can say is that all signs point to whether it's right or not, that's where society is being pushed. And I like that. I realize it's going to be some growing pains, believe me. Sure. But I like that. We were a better society when everybody be embarrassed to be stupid. There's no embarrassment to ignorance, dude. Like a couple of episodes ago, we're talking about how the modification of language and all that, which I'm all for, just not out of ignorance. And right now, there's a prideful ignorance in things where when somebody's found out to be ignorant, it's like, yeah, but still, there's a shit attitude. No, this is when you are humble and you go, you know what? I did not know that. Thank you. Or whatever your version of that is. Yeah. But you know what's never right? I don't care, but still, that's how I use the word. Well, that's how I use the word. Well, no, because if you say that 3 + 3 is 7, we're not just going to be like, leave them alone.
2 + 2 = 4 is white supremacist?
I don't even know how that makes a connection, but I'm sure it has to do with like
something about postmodernism, how truth is just a construct and 2 + 2 = 4 is only upholding that idea. I don't know. You can do your research, Lil Beasts. I did not enough and it confused me and I felt it was dumb, so I stopped.
Well, I like the idea that now, like, listen, I don't want to be shitty, but I'm gonna be. When coronavirus deniers get the fucking virus and one of them dies and I see the picture and it's a red-faced pimple-looking motherfucker that is fat as fuck who turns out had 3 of the underlying conditions and he was a denier and he gets the corona, I don't feel bad. Yeah. I say, you know what, friend? Good for you. You died by your own sword. You walked your walk. But you don't get to. That's the whole thing. Listen, dude. Listen, man. You want to be an anti-vaxxer. That's fine. But if you die of an easily curable disease because you didn't want to take the goddamn vaccine.
Are you going to get the Rona vaccine when it comes out? The Rona vaccine when it comes out?
Probably not. The death rate is not fucking something that alarms me. If my son's oncologist suggested it, then I would.
Sure.
I've never taken a flu shot. I don't, I believe in my own immunity before I have reasons to believe it's compromised. And
that's something that no government official will ever talk about.
Listen, man, other than drinking, I go to amazing lengths to be on top of my immunity and on top of my health. So,
I've absolutely boosted up my vitamin and supplement intake since, we've been in the quarantine just because.
But again, it's a matter of saying, and this goes back to what we're talking about, right? When they came out, the zinc and the vitamin D were a factor. Right. I'm not going to go into what the percentages and start with the bullshit. I'm just saying a factor. It's a factor, right? I don't go, well, I have my vitamin regimen really, really dialed in, so I don't know. Right. No, I just buy the vitamin. I take it.
I also ended up buying vitamin D.
Like, what's it gonna? Like, exactly. Many years ago, when I was having some joint shit, I asked Eric Nixick, the manager of the gym. I was like, "Hey, dude, you anything for joints?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I do glucosamine." And he's like, and I was like, well, do you notice it? It's like, well, I don't notice it. And I was like, you know what, man? It's more than I'm doing now.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
but this is like, this idea to somebody. The placebo effect is a very real thing, and we should take it to our advantage.
Well, see, but here's where you fall into like, this is why people are funny, right? You'll find somebody that tells you that the placebo effect is bullshit, but they believe in the secret. Well. You know, so it's the same thing. You know, it's an intent. It's everything. Yeah. That's what placebo is, and that's what the secret is, right? But if you take the placebo effect and you add it with your own effort, that's fine. The problem is that the problem I think at the core that we're dealing with here is that everyone who thinks they can get the same result without calorie expenditures is being exposed right now.
Sure.
And I love that. I fucking love that. Good. Now you see, you know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. Whatever the thing is it has to cost you calories, man. It just does.
Like, I just don't understand why, like, there's such this, and I guess I do understand why, right? Because people are always looking for shortcuts, but like, right, your specific, like, right, your diets, your spot toners, your workouts for a specific part of your body. No, that's not how any of this works. And it's very easy to look up that information and realize it's very simple. Calories in versus calories out at the end of the day. Right, there's nuances, of course, but when we distill it to something that's useful and manageable to your day-to-day life, there it is.
And the specific targeted training like that is for elite people that have never been out of shape. Your ass that's just getting started at 30, you're never gonna be there. So you know what? Worry about feeling good. Don't step on the scale. Do this. Learn to shut the fuck up. And there's, as you know, I'm addicted to cardio, right?
Yes.
I start every morning with 5 miles every single morning. Well, 5 days a week. I take it off on the weekends. I've done different variations of cardio, right? I ran for like 3 months straight every single day before, like no missing, right? And then I ran outside and I ran in a flat treadmill and I settled on the curved treadmill. And I do 5 miles a day. I do different runs. Sometimes it's consistent, sometimes it's not. But I'm addicted to the cardio run. And the number one reason that I'm addicted to running, and it took me a long time, by the way, to get to be where I could run without pain and to get to where I could figure this out. So I have to run every day because my entire life I hated running. I fucking despise running. And what I need to do in order to accept new information, because I have a high regard of my own self, you know, I trust my instincts. I'm a confident person. I trust that the information that I have is as accurate as I could find it to be.
Sure.
I need to break my will.
Yeah, totally.
And the only thing that breaks my will, not my will, I have to break my resistance.
Sure. Yeah.
When I'm done doing cardio for an hour, I don't have energy to resist. And it's often those times where I take a breath and I go, well, clearly, this is the answer to that thing that I've been looking for. Yeah. And why was I avoiding it? Because I knew it.
Right.
And I resist. Right.
Our brain
so for me, it's a way to break down that part where I'm like, and I think every person has a version of that resistance. So when you find it, when something triggers you, double down on that. Yeah. As opposed to telling the world to quiet because you're going to cause me to have a fucking anxiety attack. No, for sure, don't cause yourself a fucking anxiety attack. But part of that is don't run away. You cannot build strength without fucking resistance. You know what I mean? And so you have to embrace it a little bit. And it doesn't have to be fucking at everything and you're going to be a savage, but it could be gradual. You know, it could be a gradual thing.
Right.
Yeah, why not?
My favorite picture I think I've ever seen is a Calvin and Hobbes comic where Calvin is like, right, you know the characters, I assume, right?
Yes.
So it's Calvin, and he's just walking, but it's steps behind him, over mountains, over sand dunes, and it's just, right, don't worry about how big the steps are, just keep moving, keep making those steps.
Yep, that's it, man. Yeah. That's it. And I think, and I'm seeing it in a lot of these kids, you can inherit your parents' disdain for authority before you understand why your parents have disdain for authority. You can inherit your parents' disdain for instruction without ever understanding why your parents dislike instruction. Sure. And that's a dangerous thing. Yeah. You know, that's why I want my son James has had so many coaches we've lost track between tennis, swim, and martial arts. And I want him to be that way. Because as soon as you think that one person has the answers, that's not it. The best answer for you is going to be a combination of your broad experiences.
Yep, that you can apply to yourself.
That's it.
Work
that's
for
it.
your individual.
100%. 100%. You know, it's like if you only like one guitar player. No, if you talk to guitar players, they're like, oh shit, where do we even start? You know what I mean? Yeah. They give you like 16 categories, top 5 in each of those categories, and why this is important.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? Like, so I kind of think that approach is something that I begrudgingly like about President Trump. When somebody calls somebody a flip-flopper, my trigger is the person doing the call out.
Sure.
Because that means that guy doesn't change his mind despite new information being given. I want you to be able to change your mind.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Because people fuck up.
People are dumb.
You know,
right.
like
I feel like you can just look at your own life.
The only place where I disagree is where they don't face it head on. Because then that means that at the same vein as I'm giving Trump a compliment, I'm going to take it right back. His problem to me is he doesn't have the testicular fortitude as a man and the strength of character of saying, upon new information, turns out the ventilators are a terrible idea. We're going to offload those in a different market.
Wait, but Carlos, I thought we were in a ventilator shortage.
We were, and we thought we were.
Right. No, yeah, absolutely.
And the results from the medical community are telling us that a lot of the people that were put on ventilators died. Some of the research shows that maybe their body stopped fighting as hard because the machine's breathing for them.
Right.
So we're going to pivot this thing. We already made a couple of deals in the private sector. These ventilators are not going to go to waste. We're going to make some revenue off of them, and this is what we're doing next. I would like to see a leader do that in my life. You know what I mean? Because in the military, if you read anything about like Jocko or Tim Kennedy, those leaders, the reason that their men will die for them is because they're like that.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and they're in charge of those people's lives.
No, you're right.
Platoons. Kids.
You're right.
Yeah, no,
you're right.
I mean,
18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds.
So that's where I see an alarming thing, you know. And I think that this whole thing with the quarantine, it's forcing people. I tell you what, dude, I see so many families at the park.
Totally.
So
Absolutely.
many families out there running and bike riding and doing the thing together. Like, that's a great thing. There's going to be some, there can be, and there will be good things that come out of this.
Absolutely.
But anybody that's given into fanatism, some people, this is the first time in their lives they had the motivation to take up a cause. And that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me the most. Because it's not smart people, in my opinion. It's not well-balanced people. They're easily led, easily angered. And the result that we're seeing is that, you know, it's easily led, easily angered. Punks. Punk bitches.
And like, I feel like for me, I just see so many people who rush to comment on it in social media.
Yeah. They're addicted. It's an addiction. I mean, they're addicted to people liking it and agreeing with it.
I feel like I can recognize in myself that I probably pay a little bit too much attention to the news. Pretty much so.
Yeah, but we were raised to that.
True. I mean, regardless.
I do too.
Regardless. I probably pay too much attention to the news. But I'm not out there. I just don't feel the need to share my opinion on every little thing that comes out.
No.
I just don't understand that.
Nah. And it's not a good idea.
And I understand if like maybe you're trying to become an influencer and that's working out for you and like you're able to turn it into some sort of monetary thing. That makes sense to me. But just your average individual, I just agreed. I just don't see the cost benefit analysis of it working out
Adam
for you.
Carolla has a pretty good quote that I like of his. I used to listen to his show when he was on the radio, and that was like one of the first podcasts that I got into, his and Joe Rogan's. And eventually, I don't listen to Carolla very much anymore. I just didn't see it evolve a whole lot. It's the same. Like, I know if I started listening tomorrow, I didn't miss anything.
Sure,
it's the
like
same
4
show,
segments
and it'll be comfortable and it'll be great.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I like is that one of the things that he likes to follow is, if it doesn't make you happy and it doesn't make you money, what's the point?
Right.
And it's pretty simplistic, but it's true, because doing anything happy covers a lot.
Time out, though, but like a lot of people don't even recognize that. If you're able to get to the point where you're doing something that makes you happy and something that makes you money, you can affect way more change.
No, but the point is, if it doesn't make you happy and it doesn't make you money, what is the point? Why are you doing it? It's probably something negative for you. It's a compulsion. Yeah. It's an addiction to terrible news, to terrible commentary on YouTube with other people that you get back and forth in the comment section, get real dirty in the mud. I think that's what it is inferring, because anything else you can think of would make you happy.
Totally.
Like if you're feeding the bumps, you come out of there feeling happy, motherfucker. So the happy covers a lot, and money. So,
money can't buy happiness.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I agree with you. If you can be happy in the thing that you earn money in, I think it's good. But I also think that people would be surprised. Like, I'm in sales.
Sure.
And it took me a long time to realize that as long as I'm not selling a shit product, and I like sales.
Sure.
I enjoy that. I enjoy proving to somebody that what I have is better, and putting my name behind it, because we do sales and service of the equipment that we sell. I like that. I like that those people know that I'm not full of shit.
Sure.
I mean, some of the equipment that I sell, commercial entities, is shit that I like. My camera system in my house. That's the shit that I sell somebody. The shit that watches over my kids.
Right.
So. But I also understand that it's not for a lot of people. I'm personable. I like that. I like meeting somebody and saying, "How are you?" and having a meeting in person. I like that. I the day that I have a meeting and I wake up that morning and I do my workout and I put on a fucking suit and I know I'm gonna get this fucking business that day, and I'm not gonna do it through shitty pretensions and pretending to be something I'm not. And the best part to me about that
it's a craft in a way.
100%. I consider it to be.
Yeah.
And to me, the highest regard that I have for myself in terms of sales is that I like to think that if any of the people I sell anything to met me at the bar, they would have met the exact same person. The exact same person.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, not the cursing or the, but they will. I will have made you laugh at some point, and found a common ground. And if I saw that you have a fucking putter on the corner, you know what I mean? But it will never be shallow.
Sure.
And it will never be fake.
Yeah.
Yes.
People can tell when genuinity is 100%. Happening. Like, and absolutely. Like, I like to think that's something that we are here on this, right? Being genuine with who we are. And
if you're not going to try to be, listen, if this is not entertaining to anybody, then it's not. But you know what would be less entertaining? Me pretending to be something I'm not.
Totally.
Because that's not a thing that I'm good at. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I think that if you distill all those things down, right? If you were to interview any protester on any side, they're not full people. They're not. They're disenfranchised. They feel victimized. They feel ostracized. They feel like at some point they didn't get a fair shake, and some other group represents the lack of them getting that fair shake. And it's a sad thing, because we need to restructure education. Sorry. The unions were not going to last like that forever. The fact that your father and grandfather were able to fucking live off of that goddamn money grab in some of these unions for so long doesn't mean that you were guaranteed a full life like that too.
Yeah.
Things change and life changes, and you have to re-educate yourself.
And there's still a way to protect workers without resorting to unions.
No, there is. There is. And by the way, let's think them up.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just, man, and you're right, man. Fuck them. Right. No, that's not going to accomplish anything. Yeah. And by the way, related to the school thing that we keep going back to, put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Because guess what? If your kid comes out stupid now, you had a hand in that. You can't just blame the teacher. Interview that kid. Why are you stupid? When my daddy was stupid, he didn't give a fuck about me doing school. He took the Chromebook 3 days a week to do his own Googling. It only had the two. I mean, think about what these kids are dealing with. The fact that some parents are complaining. So your parenting plan was for the school district to feed your kid before 3?
Absolutely.
That's fucking neglect. That's a basic fucking responsibility.
But time out though, there is, I think, something like 15,000 students in Clark County who are technically considered homeless. I'm not saying it's not neglect, but sometimes situations put people in the situation.
No. I get that. But I'm just saying that, again, I'm not saying that I enjoy the fact that people are having to face all of these things head on. It's no one's fault. Okay? No one made this happen. No one is targeting anybody. But a lot of what each individual is dealing with is a consequence of choices that they've been putting off for a long time. And a lot of the distracting factors of those choices are being taken away, such as cooking for your fucking children. Well, you have the time now.
Right. They don't have the money though, baby.
If they have the money to go fucking buy McDonald's for a family, dude, they have the money to cook a meal. That's bullshit. Sure. You go buy McDonald's for a family of 5 right now.
Unless they live somewhere where there's like a food desert, right?
Okay, that'd be fine. So let's just localize it to Las Vegas, the school district that I'm dealing with.
Okay.
Your ass, with the money of a fucking family, with dinner at McDonald's for a family of 5, you cook dinner.
Totally. Yeah, you grab a bag of rice, bag of beans.
Effort. Effort. People that have been shunning effort are the ones paying the steepest prices in health, fiscally, effort. You're not beyond effort. You're not Paris Hilton. You're not Kim Kardashian, even though you're not a real housewife. You're not The Situation. You're not Diplo.
Situation.
Effort, motherfuckers.
I don't think he deserves to be brought in with those other people.
I was thinking of DJ. It's the first one that came to my mind. But I'm just saying, dude, like I just think it can be a good thing, and it will be a good thing. A lot of people have gotten out. A lot of people have gotten active.
Yeah.
How many people started Googling vitamins for the first time because of this? Good.
Totally.
Good. That's step 1.
Yeah.
You took a step.
Yeah. That's a step.
Yes. Totally. Steps that they weren't even fucking thinking about taking, dude.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint of view, I hope it's good. As far as the kids go, I think it varies. Because if you're in 8th grade, this is probably weird as shit.
Probably sucks, dude.
For a first grader like my son,
cool.
This is all he's knowing.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, he did have preschool at your preschool, and he had kindergarten last year. But he's still seeing kids. Yeah. We're still getting out to the park, and you know, and it's kind of the new normal for them. Like, I mean,
but that's a great point. If you're like a middle schooler and you're kind of already used to the cool school system and having
high school,
especially high school.
Are you supposed to try to get laid?
I don't want.
Oh my goodness! Oh my word!
But even especially colleges. Think about colleges where colleges were offering full tuition for in-class students or for in-class sessions, and now they're suddenly switching to online sessions. First week, second week. It is happening. It's kind of a bait and switch.
It's 100% a bait and switch.
Why would you want to go to Notre Dame, pay Notre Dame online schooling when you go to your community college and get basically the same Canvas worksheets, the same, I don't know.
Well, for the same reason they wanted to go. To get a diploma that says Notre Dame.
I guess.
Because, hey, listen, again, let's face things. Why have we been paying for the schools? Because it says on the diploma and you get to tell other people. And because in theory, you'll make more money. Hopefully it does happen to some. I think it varies by field. But I tell you what, the people that come out of there with that diploma feel more special to themselves. So, and that's okay. But let's have a real conversation about what you're paying for.
Well, and with the age of the internet, college should be all online. You should be able to go pick the very best Math 101 class that you can find. And it should be accredited. And it shouldn't matter from what university it should be from. The idea of a university in the age of the internet is kind of stupid.
Let me give you an analogy. Let me give you an analogy, right, to that. It's kind of like this. Let's say that you were not able to lie, right? And you go to the guy that has the gold chains, and he's fat, and he's short, but he's tan, and he's wearing a white suit with a flower shirt, and he's got a fucking Ferrari, okay? And you go to that guy. He's not allowed to lie.
Okay.
And you go, hey, good friend.
Hey, good friend.
How come you picked this car? And he, not being able to lie, the reply was just straight to your face, takes his sunglasses off, he's full of rings, full of chains, and he goes, well, the reality is that I was a dumpy child. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I was not social. Girls didn't want to touch me with a 10-foot pole. I developed a nap, and I spent the rest of my life overcompensating with the amount of money that I've made.
Sure.
That's what we're talking about. That's what the college thing is right now.
Yeah.
And it's okay, by the way. The thing about it is that for years and years and years and years, people have been able to give you all kinds of different answers so that they don't have to suffer the indignity of the truth.
Right.
which is okay. No one should mock you anyway.
Yeah.
But why do you have to modify the narrative? Because of shame. And where there's shame, there's some hiding of shit that you're not trying to fucking talk about. It's, again, I don't want to get back to the president, but if he has to control the narrative on things, it's because there's a lot of shit that he's not proud of. That's who pretends to be tough. A pussy. And guess who and it takes one to know one. So if you identify with that, you just might be a fucking pussy. Or you're a poor son of a bitch who wishes his daddy had been rich as Trump's. And that's pathetic. I wish I was Tom Brady. So, not to say that I'm fucking in agreement of the Democrats or the Republicans. I don't put my support behind anyone I see currently.
It's hard to.
So, you know, that Kamala. If you're pro marijuana and you're gonna vote for the Democratic ticket, you should really take a look at yourself. If you have any problem with convictions of brown people over low drug offenses and you're willing to vote for that Democratic ticket, you should really ask yourself why.
Let's move on. Let's bring in our special guest.
Okay.
And we're back.
I am James.
With Niños of la Vista.
And Niños of the Beast.
That's not right. Don't take my word for it, buddy. I'm not good at Spanish.
What's the name of your segment, sir?
My segment's name, as always, is Kids of the Beast.
That's right.
Today, me and my dad are going to be breaking down Cobra Kai Season 2.
Do you know what Cobra Kai is, sir?
So Cobra Kai, in my understanding, is a YouTube series that follows the Karate Kid.
YouTube Premium.
Regardless, still a YouTube series that follows the Karate Kid.
Yes. So what happened is a couple of years ago, right? YouTube launched their attempt at a premium service, which for what I understand, didn't really work out very well for them. I mean, the biggest show was Cobra Kai. And it's a very good production. You can tell they put a lot of money into it.
Guys.
Hold on 1 second, please. And so YouTube Premium didn't work out. They only had, I mean, I subscribed to it just for Cobra Kai. They had nothing else you could watch.
Interesting.
Yeah. They were like, I don't know what happened or whatever.
Well, don't you get like no ads on YouTube with it too?
Well, yeah, but I don't give a fuck about that. I was doing it for the original content.
Okay.
If I'm going to pay a premium, it's for original content. I don't watch enough YouTube to care enough about not paying for the ads. Like, that's not the thing, you know? And plus, the thing about not paying for the ads, that's still content that's created by amateurs sometimes. So it's not like the high quality. If I'm paying for content, at least it's professionally made. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my view anyway.
But anyhow, please stop this?
They canceled and they moved and they finally they did season 1 and 2 on YouTube, which is when we watched it, right? We watched season 1 and season 2, and then it went away from YouTube and now it's coming to Netflix.
Okay, now could we please tell them about it? So there's one really scary part I wanted to save for the first part.
Okay, hit me.
No.
I'm ready to be scared.
Hold on. That's the end. You can't tell them the end at the beginning.
Okay. So, it all started when one of the main characters named Johnny, the sensei of one of my favorite guys named Miguel, and he brought Cobra Kai back. And then...
Sensei Johnny did. He brought Cobra Kai back.
Mm-hmm. And now they're all training. But this is the part that's not too good. You see, when it happened, and so after that, they went to like a training place that was like a show that other people were at. And like, they were awesome. They chopped wood, did a lot of stuff. And after that, Miguel got beaten for like first time, not really bad. The bad part was at the end. And after
all right, hold on. Before you tell the end, let me explain to people what you're talking about,
Please.
Okay? All right. So
no, I want to explain.
I'm not gonna tell them the end. You're gonna tell them what happened, but I know where you're going, and I don't want you to say it before people know, because some people may have not watched this before.
I need the context.
Yeah.
I need context.
Okay, so in the show, Sensei Johnny right? Which is the blonde guy from the Karate Kid movies back in the day who was a bad guy.
Oh, he's a sensei now.
Yes. So he's had a bad life, right? And he's kind of struggling.
A bad guy,
and then Daniel LaRusso, he's got a good life.
Is it the same actors?
Yes. He has a car dealership, LaRusso Cars, right?
Yeah.
And he's on the billboards like doing a kick and everything.
10 out of 10. As he should, damn it.
Oh yeah, he sells a bunch of cars. He has a nice life, a nice house. His kids train, blah, 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 right? Now, Johnny, the bad sensei, he lives in an apartment complex. And next door is this family with a mom, a grandma, and a kid. The kid's name is Miguel. Miguel gets bullied at the beginning of season 1. And Sensei Johnny sees him outside the gas station or something, right? And he's getting bullied and he kicks the ass of the other 4 bullies. And he kind of reignites his love for karate. So then Miguel's like, you should teach me. And Johnny's like, well, I don't teach, blah, blah, blah. So then long story short, Sensei Johnny opens up a dojo. And that's how they bring back Cobra Kai. And Miguel is his first student, correct? And there's another guy too. What's his name?
The other guy?
Hawk?
Hawk, yeah, that's a student though.
That's right. So Hawk is this other character who was getting bullied in school because he had a little scar right here from having a cleft palate.
Of course.
And then he comes in there and at first they kind of beat him up a little bit, but then he gets himself a mohawk and a sweet tattoo of a hawk on his back. And then
how old is he?
Like 16 years old. And so then he becomes Miguel's like main training partner. And then they will go to the All Valley tournament, much like Karate Kid back in the day.
And at the end, first everyone gets into a fight, starting with 2 girls that got into a fight.
Oh, so this is season 2. So it's at the end of season 1.
Okay.
Miguel wins the All Valley tournament.
Yeah,
right?
And then
but
like
the person that he beats, hold on, tell him about Robbie, dude.
yeah.
Robbie?
So Robbie is this other runaway kid that comes into the picture. He turns out to be Johnny's son.
Of course.
And he gets a job working for Daniel LaRusso. So then Daniel starts teaching Robbie karate.
Wax on, wax off.
Miyagi-Do karate, that's correct.
Hey, of
and so
course.
at the end of season 1, Miguel fights Robbie at the tournament. And Miguel wins.
Sounds like a great show.
It's a very good show. It's tremendous.
If you're into the Karate Kid,
dude,
Stop,
it's so
stop.
good. So then now that brings us to season 2. Yes. Now this comes to season 2.
In number 2, it's all different. Johnny brings back Cobra Kai, and yeah. But this all started with 2 girls getting into a fight. And then
Which is Daniel's daughter.
Yeah.
And Miguel's new girlfriend, who used to be Daniel's daughter. But they had an altercation. They're no longer dating.
Wait. You said Daniel's daughter twice.
Stop. Okay.
So, hold on. So Miguel used to date Daniel's daughter.
Okay.
And then they are not together anymore. So now there's a new girl that Miguel has.
And they get into a fight.
She's Cobra Kai.
Of course.
Her name's Tori with a Y.
Tori's not getting a name.
And yeah, she's one of the persons who gets in a fight. And then Robbie and Miguel get into a fight after that. Then the whole place.
The whole school's fighting each other. It's nothing but Cobra Kai on Miyagi Dojo crime.
Oh my
All
God.
over the school. It's mayhem.
Yeah.
Like a real family battle.
And after that, one of my favorite parts is where Hawk hunts down someone whose name is Petrie. It's weird.
Dimitri.
The Petrie. And then he hides and Hawk finds him. And when they try to beat each other up, Petrie wins. Kicks him into glass.
And now the context of that is that...
And whoa. I want to tell him about that dangerous part.
Hold on, before you do that. Dimitri is Hawk's best friend from when they were both nerds.
Oh, of course.
And so then Hawk gets cool because he becomes a badass because of Cobra Kai. And Dimitri tries to go to Cobra Kai and he gets beaten up. And he's like, man, fuck this. I'm not trying to get beat up. And he quits Cobra Kai. But then because Hawk starts kind of bullying his old friend Dimitri, Dimitri goes and gets karate lessons from That's right. That's right. So then, therefore, at the end, Dimitri and Hawk, that's who fights each other. So Dimitri puts a good ass whooping on Hawk.
What happened? Hit me with his dangerous stuff.
And then the last part, which was like the part where I actually cried, was where.
Oh, he was listening.
Tommy.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the show, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to hear this next part. because he's gonna tell you what happened at the end of season 2.
All right, hit us. What happens?
Okay, so Tommy and Miguel were fighting. Miguel takes him down, but after that, Tommy gets back up. Robbie gets back up, and then like kicks him, and he falls down every stairs, hits his back on the railing, and next thing you know, falls onto the ground, and like he has to go to the hospital.
Wow.
And he had a bloody nose, and everything was just
everything.
And that's the end. So we don't know what's gonna happen season 3.
Oh, they got you.
I know.
They got you.
I'm telling you, you gotta watch this show. It's a good show. It's a good show. Like, listen, as long as you can accept the hokiness, because do they do callbacks to the movie? Yes, they do. They repeat lines.
Yes. If you don't like that,
fuck you. Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I wasn't
it's
going to say that in front of your child, but since you said
No, it's a great show. It's a great show. And he's now seen Karate Kid movie, the first one, right?
How good is that?
Pretty good.
How good is Mr. Miyagi?
Mr. Miyagi, oh my god, he is amazing. He karate chops. He karate chops Sensei Johnny in the freaking stomach. Like,
You know what my favorite part of the Karate Kid movie is?
what?
When he goes, honk.
At the end.
Yeah. And the part where what's his name again? The sensei that trained
John Kreese.
No, I'm talking about
The bad guy.
No, I'm talking about the good guy.
Miyagi?
Yeah, Miyagi kicked him with a crane kick.
That's right. Are we going to review a different movie or show next time?
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people?
I just want to tell him about my side swipe now.
Oh, tell us about this. Hold on. You need to describe it for the people who want to listen to the audio, because we do only have podcast fans who don't watch the video. So describe what it looks like.
So side swipe, actually, I don't actually have to describe what he looks like, because I have a toy of him.
But
I know, but some people aren't
only
watching
listen.
the video. So they just listen.
So use your words to describe what it looks like.
So Sideswipe transforms into a car. He's red and has arms that have spikes on him, and he's an Autobot. You could tell because of a badge that looks like this, with 2 holes inside of it. And not only that, Sideswipe's so cool, he can transform into an awesome car.
I have a question. Where is Sideswipe on the pecking order of the Transformers?
Is he like? Because Optimus Prime is their leader,
is he
right?
the boss, or is he?
No, Optimus Prime is the boss.
Oh,
No,
okay.
How dare you?
whoa. So Optimus Prime puts Bumblebee in charge of Sideswipe, Strongarm, and Grimlock.
So Bumblebee's like a lieutenant.
Yeah, that's why Cadet Strongarm calls him Lieutenant Bumblebee.
Oh, SHIT.
I see. That's very interesting.
And
Can we talk about what hat you're wearing?
yes,
What's your hat?
it's. I feel like it's an ECR hat or a. Yeah, I'm not really good with that.
ECR is the business, the big business that Mr. Carlos works at. But no, your hat is not an ECR hat.
Okay,
Good guess though.
Can I take this hat off though?
Yes.
It's starting to annoy me.
Okay, so your hat is actually of a great Mexican champion boxer, Canelo Alvarez.
Put it on. You wear it, Carlos. Show that Canelo.
And not only that,
You know who your dad's favorite boxer is?
Who?
Julio Chavez Jr.
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Want to know who my favorite
Senior.
boxer is?
Who?
Who?
I've seen him in action.
Whom?
Gustavo. He's my all-time favorite.
Gustavo Lopez.
Yes.
The fighter
UFC
for
bantamweight.
UFC bantamweight. That's what's up, Mr. James. What's up?
He's
Well,
really good.
I think that's a great segue because I think me and your father are about to talk about some fights.
All right. Well, say goodbye to the people.
Bye, guys. And I just want to tell you about one more scene about my Transformers. So,
Please do. Hit us with that side swipe information.
So, Sideswipe here is actually really cool. He's so cool, he can actually transform into a car.
Whoa. If you're listening to just the audio, let us take this opportunity to say, go to YouTube, search Children of the Beast podcast. You have to put in podcast because if you just put in Children of the Beast, There is an
God
Iron
knows
Maiden.
what you're gonna get.
No, there's an Iron Maiden cover.
Oh yeah. Is it girls?
I don't think so.
Oh,
but they're kind of popular. I mean, they have a couple thousand views on YouTube.
It's a great name.
It is. Fair play. I mean,
especially for a tribute band.
It's a great name. So please put in Children of the Beast podcast on YouTube, episode 8, and you can see me and Mr. James's beautiful dyed hair. Don't you like our hair?
All right. Well,
hold on. One more question. Are you going to dye your hair a different color?
No, I think it's in the process of getting a haircut, and we're gonna get school hair till next summer.
Bummer.
It's not a bummer.
I'm going to dye my hair purple. What do you mean?
Try to forget he said that, okay?
Well, James, you've been a great guest, and we can't wait to talk to you again next week. Can we have a big high five? Boom.
Yeah.
But here, let's talk about some fights. Let's talk about some UFC, some ultimate fighting champion shit.
Well, I think we got to start with a little drama that was beautiful to me.
Please do.
The John Jones drama was gorgeous.
About what? What do you mean? What drama?
The way that everything played out, it was a beautiful dance with a chainsaw. That's for you sunny people. If you're a sunny person, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then you're not
should
pure.
be a sunny people.
You're not pure.
You should be sunny person.
Yeah, man. It was a beautiful dance with a chainsaw. John Jones is like, they don't like me. And Dana White's like, I don't need him. And then they're like, well, maybe we might fucks with each other. And then Jones is like, I respectfully decline the thrones that I've earned. And then Dana's like, well, maybe. Ooh. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, we're getting along great, y'all. We're all friends. And now we all know John Jones is going to take over heavyweight. And guess what? Not a single soul in the heavyweight division can do a motherfucking thing about it.
Can I do a timeout on the court?
Go for it.
Timeout on the court. Call me Doc Rivers. I'm calling timeout.
I've spoken.
So I'm going to cut that out. What do you mean, sir? Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou. And I love Stipe. I think Stipe is going to be an interesting challenge for John Jones.
I'm going to give you...
Hold on, let me finish. I think John Jones solves that challenge. But Francis Ngannou? Francis?
Okay.
Ngannou? With all of the might of Africa?
I have one thing to say to you. MMA math.
It's not real.
100% real.
Not real.
If John Jones handles...
Not real.
Listen, I'm sorry to tell anyone... But if John Jones handles Stipe, Ngannou don't got a shot.
That's not a bad argument. Look at me. Look at me turn and talk to the mic. That's not a bad argument.
I can't help it. That's the truth, man. That's the truth. 205 is in shambles. Because, it is. Because you know what? I mean,
look at last night. Anthony Smith, the proverbial. I'm surprised we didn't see a John Jones tweet talking shit about Anthony Smith. Because he knows it's beneath him at this point.
There's no money in it.
There's no money in it.
That money's already been cashed.
Now, can we talk about Rakic's? I don't know his first name. Antonio?
Yeah.
Antonio Rakic's.
I like him. I mean,
his
good.
leg kicks? Fantastic
Good,
against
beautiful.
Anthony Smith. Fantastic. But it seems to me it's very clear that Anthony Smith's best years are behind him.
Well, he's got a lot of mileage.
33 fights, 16 losses now.
It's a lot of fights.
15 before last night.
That's
16.
a lot. That's a lot of training, a lot of sparring, a lot of amateur. I think he fought in Golden Gloves too. I mean, he's a combat athlete, so it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's that's the thing. Uncle Dana, careful what you wish for. What were you saying all the time?
If anybody, time out.
Yeah,
I want to bring something up because a couple of weeks ago, maybe episode 3, 4, you talked about how Dana White is such a fan of foreign champions.
Yes.
I think there's only been 2 U.S. champions since 2016. I saw a Reddit post about this. It's John Jones and then, Stipe. But everyone else has been international.
Yeah. See? I mean, it says, I'm not saying it's on purpose. I'm saying it's good for business. It's a lot easier to handle an international champion. You're not beholden to their opportunities, whether they're available or not. So, I mean, Dana said after BJ Penn and after Randy Couture and after GSP, and after all the other people that wanted to hop around weight classes and Connor, that you had to wipe out a division.
That's not true.
Well, Jonathan Bones Jones said,
hold my beer. Hold my cocaine. Hold my steroids. Hold all my illicit drugs.
Hold me in contempt of the court. Because I break the law. Yeah. But the law I don't break is the law of cleaning out the motherfucking division.
Yeah, and
he didn't just clean it out. He scrubbed
left it in
it.
Shambles.
He scrubbed
Light
it.
heavyweight's such garbage right now.
He destroyed it.
It's such garbage. I'm sorry. I don't care who wins against Dominic Reyes and John Blachowicz, and they're going to fight Rakic. No.
Here's how I look at it. For the first time since I started watching, I couldn't tell you who the top 5 in the heavyweight division are. I mean, the light heavyweight without John Jones. I could say Dominic Reyes, I guess Anthony.
Rakic, yeah.
That new guy.
John Blachowicz.
Yeah, he's not a champion, though.
But he's number 2 right now, or number 3.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's some...
Right, it's telling that bantamweight, lightweight are more exciting, more name-driven versus light heavyweight. Come on, UFC. The Bellator light heavyweight champion, John Jones himself, said he was number 1 light heavyweight.
Yeah. Now it's interesting. I like it. And let me tell you another thing.
Hit me.
To add to the nightmare that John Jones is for, I think, the UFC and for Dana, he's moving up to heavyweight at a perfect time. Perfect time. Because there's just...
Like you said, Stipe probably not going to figure him out.
Give me 5 fights.
Maybe.
What's 5 fights at heavyweight?
Stipe, Francis. I don't know.
We don't have him.
I don't know. Derek Lewis, Curtis Millender.
Yeah.
No, agreed. Agreed. JDS.
Who are you going to fight after that? JDS.
It's washed. Hate to say it. It seems to be.
The last fight, when,
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
So
let's talk specifically about last night's fights. Anthony Smith versus...
I got started the prelims.
Okay, go for it. Well, I know you're going to bring it up, I feel like.
Emily Whitmire.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Spitfire
Whitmire. Couture, our own gym.
Not anymore.
No.
She fights at a syndicate. Which leads me to my next point.
Well, I co-sign what you're about to say already. I don't even need to know what you're about to say. I co-sign. Go ahead.
I just don't think that the gym hopping ever helps. I think, especially for a fighter that was developed from an amateur level, guided through the amateur level and into the pros, I don't think that it ever seems to work out very well. I think it works out well for legends that need to reboot. You know what I mean? Like when a Vitor moves from ATT to whatever, that's a different thing. But I think for like regular fighters that are in the lower levels of the UFC, high levels of the regional circuit, I don't think it ever really fares well to it almost seems like a trap, because I would also imagine that every time you move, you just started making money, right? Now you're going to move to Oregon for a couple of months. That shit don't come cheap.
Yeah.
And then you're going to move back to Vegas.
That shit.
Another deposit, another condo, another house. You know what I mean? Like you're moving your shit all over the place and you're not consistent, right? Well, and then at some point, you got to be seeking comfort because you're moving so much.
Right? Another example of this, PVZ. Paige Van Zandt.
Same thing. Same thing.
Old gym hopper. I'm not trying to disparage the young lady's name, but that's just a fact. She is a gym hopper.
So I mean, it's tough, and she looked like she was in good shape, and maybe it takes a little bit of time. Maybe this is the first fight with that camp, and maybe the next fight she'll be more settled. Maybe, right? But it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Well, and she seems to be very confident in her ground game, but it seems in the last 2 fights that she's ran up against 2 just people who are completely better than her.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the thing, is that I don't know if she's a purple belt. I don't think she is. I think she's a blue belt. I think that the person who blue belted her is a legit person in terms of he doesn't just hang out promotions. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you move from one system to another, you're going to be losing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just by virtue of having to learn the new system and knowing the idiosyncrasies that
So I argue that maybe you move that, but maybe you keep your gi training with that system, and your no gi training with that system, and you keep developing that system, because every coach, every black belt has a different system of teaching and system of bringing you up, and a different evaluation criteria. And I think that when they move so much, they're forfeiting on that. I think you can compartmentalize and say, okay, well, I'm going to keep my gi training or my jiu-jitsu training here, and then I'm going to supplement it. I'm going to go work with Freddie Roach, and I'm going to go work with whoever's available to you at different places. But if you're not a black belt on the ground and you're moving around, that just doesn't seem like a good idea. So that sucked, because also it was quick. And
it was the first round. Yes,
and she initiated the takedown.
She did. So, it was her game that she wanted to implement.
So it's almost like she initiated the takedown and got reversed, and then she ended up getting an armbar, so that sucked. And
can we also say, in terms of prelims, much more exciting than the main events?
Dude, the main event was a snoozer.
I saw a tweet that said, similar to pancakes, great at the beginning, horrible by the end.
Yeah.
Great tweet.
Yeah. I mean,
great tweet. Do you know who tweeted that out? Esther Lynn's husband.
Esther Lynn is the photographer, right?
Photographer.
Yeah.
So he works for MMA fighting.
Is it
Casey London? I think is the last name.
Okay, cool.
Casey something. But he tweeted it out, and I was like, that's a fantastic tweet, because that is how it felt. Fantastic at the beginning, but as we got through it, it just became a slog. And that's true of the main event and the co-main event with Robbie Lawler and Neil Magny, who continues his streak of having boring fights. And you're the one who's turned me on to this. Neil Magny just cannot have an exciting fight, even against Robbie fucking Lawler. Who?
He's the most boring dominant neutralizer. That's how I can say, like.
And Robbie Lawler has been on a skid since he lost to Tyron.
He threw barely any punches, man. Did you see the CompuStrikes?
I didn't.
Oh man, I feel like somebody. I saw this thing on Twitter this morning too, and it was somebody saying that, what was the fight? Oh, that neither Carlos Condit nor Robbie Lawler has been the same since they fought each other, and they beat the living fucking shit out of one another. And it's true, man.
Because those are two fighters. Nearly as many fights as Robbie.
But the last time Condit fought, it was a fucking snooze fest. He was trepidatious, and you know what I mean, like. So, man, it was rough. And then the main event, fuck, man, I get bored. And I mean,
it just seems right. Anthony Smith's best days are behind him. At least as a fighter, as a commentator, as an analyst. That's the word. As an analyst, he seems to be great. But as a fighter, it just. Recent evidence seems to show
his title shot was a reach to me, and I don't want to talk shit on the guy.
Not a reach. Think about the division at the time.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, it was almost like, we gotta feed the T-Rex.
Yeah.
What's next? Well, that's the fattest cow. Like there was no.
He's still underweight.
Yeah, they still underweight. The crane still came out and just dropped the cow into the T-Rex pen, and the T-Rex just fucking mauled it. You know, like that's just.
And that's how it's felt with John Jones' fight in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah,
for a while now.
And the worst thing about it is that I keep an eye for like the Russian promotions and the other promotions. You know, like I'm a degenerate in that sense. Like, I watch a lot of shit that people don't get to.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally. I know you do. Bare knuckle alone.
Oh, you got a $20 pay-per-view out of Kansas City? Take my money. Take my fucking money. You know, there's not a lot of buzz on heavyweight or light heavyweight from anywhere that I've heard of.
Well, and do you think this is just the result of MMA becoming more mainstream and more higher level athletes at lower divisions entering the sport?
Yes, and people are in better shape.
Sure.
So a guy that might have been light heavyweight,
like a Chuck Liddell,
a guy that might have been light heavyweight 10 years ago is in middleweight. Exactly.
Now let's talk about middleweight.
In fact, Lionheart said that he was now mulling over going back down to middleweight.
That's a horrible decision for him. But let's talk about middleweight, because I can't fucking wait for Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. Borrachinho.
Borrachinha, he talking some shit. They don't like one another.
They don't. Well, I don't know if they don't like each other, but they know how to talk to each other.
It's a good promotion. It's a good promotion.
It's
a good promotion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe, and like I feel like Izzy has like a sixth sense over the game where he likes Borrachinho, but they're talking the amount of shit to sell the fight.
Yeah. No, I like it. I'm into it. I celebrate it.
I do too. I can't fucking. That fight's soon. It's in October. What do you think?
I got a fitty. Right now?
What? What do you mean, sir? And I know. I'm the biggest self-proclaimed Israel Adesanya dick rider. I have no problem admitting it. I love that man.
No, and I love him too. I love him too.
He's the fucking best, dude.
You know what my problem was with that matchup?
Okay.
I have two eyes on the top of my head
and you see
and a goddamn brains in between my ears.
And he's a fucking...
And so just as a human being that's been on Earth for almost 40 years, I'm like, shit, I don't know.
But Yoel Romero, right? Yoel Romero was a unit.
It's different though. It's different because he's older. He's older. He's a freak. He looks amazing, but he was 40.
You know what the difference is? Borrachinho is going to try to walk down Israel, whereas Yoel was content to sit back. And I don't think that Borrachinho is going to be able to walk down Izzy.
Not only that, but if you think that Yoel Romero, growing up as an athlete in Cuba, in a communist country, right? Being a lifetime Olympian and being in MMA for the last however many years, he's 40 years old. If you don't think that he showed up compromised in his body, you're an idiot. These guys are the same age. Or maybe not the same age.
Sure,
but I mean, they're young dudes.
Close enough.
It's a better matchup.
Izzy's like 30.
Of course.
Yeah, totally.
Of course. I don't give a shit how good of a shape somebody is if they're 50.
Well, and you know what I love about
this matchup? If they're my size, I'll take my chances.
And you know what I love about this matchup, right? Right, there's been all this talk of Izzy and John Jones. But Izzy throughout this has talked about how, hey, I still need to clear out middleweight division. I'm not willing to move up until I clear out middleweight division. And this is him clearing out middleweight division, right? If he beats Paulo Costa, who's the challenger at middleweight?
No one.
Let me look up the rankings.
Not only that, but
we may be forgetting somebody.
Listen, I like your point, but you're still playing checkers. Now, let me chess you.
Okay, hit me.
It's Machiavellian, bro. Because where's John Jones going?
Heavyweight.
How much harder is it going to be for an older John Jones to go to heavyweight and then find a middle ground?
Well, timeout though.
For a fight with Izzy.
Timeout though. Izzy's fought heavyweight though. He has. Kickboxing, he has.
Yeah, but kickboxing heavyweight's way leaner. Way smaller.
But I'm right. So like here, let me read you the top five.
I'm saying you challenge John at heavyweight. At light heavyweight. After he's been the heavyweight champ and fought at least 2 times. That's a John Jones that's eating more. Yeah. That's not cutting weight, because he will not cut an ounce of weight.
No, and we know John Jones has a history of getting big between fights.
Yes, baby. So now you put it up to him. Now, you're so badass. It's a perfect way.
It is.
It's so strategical.
Well, let me hit you with the top 5. Right? So, number
strategical.
1, Whitaker.
I just said strategical. You didn't correct me, man. How dare you?
I introduced myself.
In front of the people.
Dog, I introduced myself as your name, and you didn't correct me. So, it's a wash. Fuck you.
You know what my boys say?
No, stop interrupting me. Let me read you the top 5 of middleweight. Because after Izzy beats Costos, there's going to be no one. Number 1, Robert Whitaker. Izzy beat him twice.
Oh my God, dude. Bobby Knuckles. Bobby Knuckles.
Izzy beat him twice. I love Bobby Knuckles.
I love Bobby Knuckles. I agree. But his knees are so fucked up, he dragging the knuckles on the ground.
Yes. Number 2, Paulo Costa. He's going to beat him. As an Izzy fan,
we can have a trilogy.
Well, it'll only be the second fight.
No,
I
said we could have a trilogy.
With Bobby
and
Knuckles?
That matchup.
With Bobby?
No, with Costa. With Borrachinha.
But it's only the first fight right now.
I know. We could have a trilogy.
Okay, all right, fair play. Whatever. But number 3, Jared Cannonier, who is a dark horse.
Don't care.
Number 4, Jack Hermanson.
Oh, he can't even less.
And number 5, Yoel Romero.
I falls asleep.
So right, exactly. Thank you. When Izzy beats Paulo, there's going to be no one. He has cleared out the division.
Let me tell you what happens. Yoel beats the other 2 on top of him. And we already know
I don't disagree with that.
And we already know what happens if Yoel and Borrachinha or Izzy fight, so it's pointless.
Agreed.
It's a wash.
So it's perfect timing for Izzy to fucking talk all the shit
It's
to
perfect.
John Jones.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna be a perfect storm.
think we're primed.
Because let's be real, John Jones is going to be the heavyweight champion 6 months from now?
100%.
100%.
I think it's a goddamn medical center. And I am saying it as a doctor. I have a crystal brain.
I have to pee.
Namaste. So what else you got, man? Because that's all I got. My being a new sponsored dad.
You're going to have to start an OnlyFans.
Oh, it's hilarious. No, what? What? What am I going to do? Felt cute. Might delete later. And now they cap the earnings.
I don't know. Do they?
At
Do they,
OnlyFans?
Carlos? Do they?
Evidently, I read an article this morning. There's a one girl, Bella Thorne. I believe she is an actress. And she's the
porn actress?
No. Bella Thorne is a regular actress.
What has she acted in?
I know I've seen an X-Men, I think.
Name one.
I think X-Men.
Which X-Men?
I don't know because I don't watch
There's like
that
15
shit.
of them, dog.
I know Bella Thorne is not that's Belladonna, you dumbass. You're thinking about. That's the
I
one.
don't know who Belladonna is either.
She used to sit in a baseball bat. It's a deep Google for you beasts. Now, just have your beastly demeanor if you Google Belladonna, because it's not for the faint of heart.
I'm IMDb'ing Bella Thorne.
She's an actress. I know she's been in movies
In
before.
what?
In fact, I think she's related to fucking Julia Roberts somewhere along the line and shit. Yeah.
Dog. I've never heard of any of the movies she's been in.
What movies she been in?
The Duff, Blended, Midnight
Blended is
Sun.
great. Oh, that's where she was in. Blended is tremendous. How do you fancy yourself an Adam Sandler fan? You son of a bitch. You never seen Blender? It's not Blender. It's Blended. It's a very good movie. Welcome.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Terry Crews.
That was Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler back
Yes.
at it again. Bro, Wedding Singer?
Blended.
One of the best movies
You got to
of all
watch
time.
Blended.
But Wedding Singer.
Bro,
I
listen to
don't wanna
me.
hear about Blended.
You
Talk
have
to
to
me
watch
about Wedding
Blended.
Singer.
Anyway, that girl started an OnlyFans account.
Sure.
In 1 week, she made $1 million. $2 million. And
With
so
her hoo-ha?
problem is, she ain't giving up the hoo-ha. She
Why
tell
is
you
that a problem?
because she told you she was gonna send you a nudie.
Did she?
And then you pay. Nope.
Or did she just open an OnlyFans that was
She-
a paid subscription
It was
following support?
It is an OnlyFans in which she lied to the OnlyFans after they paid and they didn't get the goods, so to speak.
Okay, but time out though, right? You can open an OnlyFans and not post nude pictures.
Yes,
can't you?
but you can't tell them that if they pay the $200, they're gonna get a nude, and
that what
then
she
you
said?
send something
Are the
back in
screenshots?
lingerie. That's what happened. Yes.
Oh.
Now, who does that fuck over?
No one.
The real sex workers, because now there's a cap.
Well,
And
sex
there's
workers have been getting fucked over for years.
good call. But so what happens now is that there was a bunch of refunds issued because she lied. So then other guys were like, "Well, I paid this other girl for a nude and she didn't send it. Refund, refund, refund." It's a mess. It's a goddamn mess, and she ruined the site with her white privilege. And that's the news.
That's the news.
That's the goddamn news.
You're stupid. You are so stupid.
Oh, shit.
That scares me because that means I'm stupider.
Well, you're laughing, motherfucker.
I know. That's what point I'm making.
But yeah, that's what happened with that girl, and that's what that's the OnlyFans controversy this week. It's
What else
tremendous.
happened this week?
You know, I mean, aside from all the
NBA,
civil unrest,
NBA, the sports, right?
Yeah.
NBA, NHL, baseball, esports. There were esports teams who boycotted games this weekend because of the.
they don't even have to get up from their couch, literally.
That's true. It's all online. It's all from their houses. They're all playing online.
Their only protest is,
Because in theory,
I will not be
time out, though.
pressing play.
In timeout, because in theory, they would be getting in like a centralized location on 5 computers in a row next to each other to play with each other. But now they're just doing it from their house. So I agree with you. What's really the big sacrifice? IDK. But NBA got arenas to act as voting centers. That is big. That is
cool.
big.
That is cool. But
That's
speaking
cool.
of the NBA, I heard one person's remarkably silent. Is
What do you
one LeBron James.
What do you mean? How is he silent?
I understand he's not really getting into the mix very much and being very cagey.
Time out. My understanding is he was the one who made this boycott go for 2 days, 3 days.
Really?
Yes. Because, right,
It's
Milwaukee...
not fake news shit.
Well, CNN, Fox News, they're all fake news.
Yeah.
My understanding is, right, and I could absolutely be wrong. I could be talking entirely out of my ass. I don't know. But my understanding is, right, the Milwaukee... not Milwaukee. No, but Milwaukee's in Wisconsin, right?
Yes, the Brewers.
So the Brewers were the ones who first took the boycott, and they were able to call a players' meeting. And after that players' meeting, after that first game where they boycotted, they were willing to start playing again. But other teams did not want that to happen because they look like assholes if everybody starts playing again. And only Milwaukee boycotts. So they all want to boycott. And of course, LeBron came in and said, of course we have to boycott. This thing's horrible. And apparently Chris Paul said, fuck you, LeBron. We'll play without you.
Thing about it is this. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're not an employee.
Well, and right, this is a great point. I'm glad you brought this up, right?
Do other employees get to do that and still make their money?
Because of the pandemic, there is a clause in the collective bargaining agreement with the NBA Players Union that, excuse me, any sort of pandemic, godly event could affect the following year, and the owners can now renegotiate what the bargaining agreement is. So, if the owners decided next year to cut the salary cap by 60%, because, right, they set up all this thing with Disney, they were willing to donate to any cause the players wanted. They put the equality thing on the back. They tried, and like right now, NBA owners are not making revenue on the NBA right now, even with these playoffs going on.
Yeah, no, it's all a loss.
Exactly. For them, it is. It's a future buy. But they can use that to leverage, cut the salary cap by 60%. And right, LeBron's not going to be affected by that. But the vast majority of NBA players, they will be affected by that. And what are they going to do?
Yeah, hold on. But I have a question / caveat. As owners, it doesn't mean it has to apply across the board. You could just apply to the highest assets because you're the owner and they're an employee. And let me finish. And that employee, that big ass baby of an employee of yours, had agents and lawyers that raked you over the coals. So guess what? Accountability time. We go back to the beginning.
But
we go back to the beginning of the podcast.
To not be the appearance of targeting, you just cut it across the board.
Fuck appearance.
No.
Contract law.
No.
Contract law.
Appearances matter. Appearances matter. Appearances matter.
What's he going to do? Quit? Somebody else will come.
He's not. But, right? 6th player on the bench, 7th, 8th. They can't afford a 60% salary cut.
They can afford it more than fucking UFC people that don't make shit. I feel nothing. Sure. Zero feelings about their earning abilities. Zero. In fact,
well, Dana White, that's the problem with Dana White. They should take up with him the most recent Republican National Convention speaker, Dana White. 2 years in a row, or not 2 years in a row, but 2 conventions in a row.
I don't have a problem with it.
Well, if you're surprised, you're just not paying attention to Dana White and who he is as an individual.
And as a business, right? If I was benefiting the way that he has from that relationship, I'd do the same fucking thing. And I don't give a fuck what anybody would think about it. Because guess who didn't fucking fire anybody?
Dana White.
Guess who kept everyone on the same pay? Guess who, by the way, this is going to go in history. And I know that, listen, I'm not a fucking Dana White shill here, but
you are.
He had the biggest fucking balls in sports.
I mean, he was the first one back. Unquestionably.
Not only that. Forget about the first one back. He was the first one to declare,
challenge it.
This virus can suck my dick and I'll figure it out. And he did. And he did. And he provided, and he did so.
You know what I wonder?
And he did so with the approval and the support of the president. And this all provided a framework for everybody else to fucking do it.
How many people have tested positive that are associated with UFC broadcast or a UFC fight? Do you know?
Fuck under 20.
I think more. What do you mean? We've had at least 25 be canceled because of COVID.
Yeah, but it's
we're
all
not
like,
talking about production, about the people who test positive and who can't go back. They're not announcing that shit. Are you kidding me? I feel like it's more than 20.
really,
We've had
that's
at least
good.
25
That means this protocol
canceled.
worked.
Maybe. Or the protocol just doesn't really matter, and if you test sick, you just go home and they don't announce it.
So it's both.
Okay.
It's a risk management course. The risk is liability and actual disease. And he put on a clinic, a master class.
He put on the illusion of a clinic, I'll say.
It's a master class nonetheless.
Illusion.
So it's every master class. Put on a master class. You put on a master class. A beautiful master class. That's it.
Well, this has been the Children of the Beast. I feel like we should end it with that.
That's it.
We'll leave you once again, the Children of the Beast, live from the lair of the beast. You can follow us I'm at Andrew_the Hut with 2 T's like Jabba the Hutt. Carlos is at Wolfchild1980 on Instagram, Twitter.
That's where I am.
You can follow the show on YouTube at Children of the Beast Podcast. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We are now on officially Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Store. Leave a review wherever you can on Apple Podcasts, especially those 5-star reviews. Woo! That's that good shit. That's that good heroin shit. So please drop it. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
I take your word for it.
You're looking at me like I'm a
I
crazy.
take your word for it.
But we grow so much with those 5-star reviews. So please lie for us. We don't give a fuck. Don't even say that you actually like us.
Unless you like it and you give us 1 star, then don't lie. That's fucked up.
Well, no, that's not a lie. If they actually don't like us and they give us 1 star, that's the truth.
No, if they like us and then they give us 1 star.
Well, why do they do that? Don't even put that in their
That'd
head.
be a lie. That's what
That
I
would
said.
be a lie. So don't be a liar unless you're lying for us to have 5 stars.
That's it. Yes.
Exactly.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So walk the walk.
Walk the walk.
Unless
5
you
stars.
don't like us.
5 stars.
If you don't like us, don't walk. If
Bro.
you do like us, then
Bro.
walk the walk.
I'm so pale compared to you.
Well, I think you're pale compared to pale people.
I mean, but like, go to YouTube and look at our arms. And
Well,
look
I mean-
how white mine is compared to his.
First of all, look at the vascularity on mine.
Well,
It needs to be noted. First of all, I mean, I could inject heroin into any of these veins. Look at that. There's so much heroin.
and if you're listening to the audio podcast, you just can't see this.
Look at this. Look at this.
So this is just more,
right here.
all the more reason
This is where
to
you
go
put,
to the YouTube
This is where you put the
where
tube.
you can see our big guns.
This is where you put the tube, and then you grab, and then that's what I've
Thankfully,
seen.
we live in
I don't know.
Nevada where you don't need a concealed carry license. You can just open carry. So we got the gun.
Oh, I see.
If you're not watching the YouTube, you won't get that joke.
No,
So
you're not.
please,
No, you're not. And
watch the YouTube.
it is a joke.
It is a joke.
It's the joke of jokes.
Let's go.
Good day, sir.
Good day. Good day to all of you.